I kind of feel like I was meant to be blind. I was just able to see things from a completely different point of view. It took some courage to use different tools, but when I'm working a piece of wood, it feels very peaceful. It's got such a fluid feel to it that it's almost like another dimension. I can feel it flow and change, and then I turn it off, and oh, it's a beautiful, ornate bowl. I grew up in a small town in Colorado. I felt like I never really fit in a lot there. It really started making me feel depressed. So when I was 16, I attempted suicide by shooting myself. I didn't want to face the world anymore. The more I think about it, the older I get, the less it makes sense. Luckily, I only lost my sense of sight and smell and left my mind totally intact. I learned woodworking about 8 years after I became blind. I went to a training center for blind people. I started going to that wood shop and discovered I just had a knack for it. You know, I'd never thought of woodworking after I was blind. But I come to learn that there is actually a very large community of blind woodworkers. It was just incredible for me. It just opened up my world. Here we go. My wife Annie helps me in so many ways. She has been an enormous part of my woodworking. She helps me select different colors of wood, for one thing, but she's also the one that bought me my lathe. She supports me in every way and just has been a wonderful part of my life. I'm out here in my wood shop about 6 hours most days, and can't tell you how nice it is when I'm out here covered in wood chips. I start with my rough piece of wood and I measure it and see, will this make a bowl or a canister or a jewelry dish the best? From there, I turn on the design program in my mind, I call it. My imagination is still so visual. And I cut it into a usable block on the saw. Basically, if you follow the rules, blind or sighted, keep my hands where they're supposed to be. A saw works like a saw, and there's really not much you can do about that. And then I mount it to the lathe and turn it into a piece of art. I love the sounds it makes when you're carving, because different cuts will make different sounds. And when I'm really got it going right and I'm making the sweeping cut into a bowl, it's just kind of a hiss, just a I feel the wood as it's spinning with my left hand, and I carve with the right hand, and I can feel it transform under my fingers as I'm cutting the wood away with the chisel. I can transform just a rough stump of wood into a piece of art that looks like wooden pottery. It's like you can feel the life in it. It just has this kind of magic to it. It's been one of the most fundamentally life-changing things for me because I have something I'm good